comments.
Wow, the filters are on fleek today.
This video is going to be me addressing these dumb documentaries made about me. Well, they're not just about me. There are a lot made about other creators as well. I'm doing this because there's a channel that, just like the rest, picks on content
Mr. Snowflake, I assume you're talking about?
creators they see as failures, I guess, and it's usually either Amberlynn or I.
No, they don't point out failures or whatever you're trying to say. They point out the hypocrisy, your favorite word. That's what they point out, Chantal.
I find it weird that a grown man chooses to obsess over the
Wait, a grown man as opposed to what? A young boy? I mean, that makes no sense, Chantal.
lives of the two same women, basically beating a dead horse, but whatever. Speaking of beating dead horses,
Kind of like you and your cycle.
figuratively, not literally, of course, this new quote-unquote...
By the way, I have a cold, not COVID, a cold, so my voice sounds weird.
docu-series being made about me will not, by the way, spoiler, will not contain anything new that you haven't heard a million times before. Also from these...
I guess this is a bit of damage control on your part because you probably know what's going to come out. Because what Mr. Snowflake does is he watches a lot of content that you've put out there yourself and information you've put out yourself. And he has a magical way of stringing it all together to make sense and to show new people on the scene the disgusting things and horrible things that both you and Amberlynn have done throughout your YouTube careers.
few other overly dramatic, embellished bullcrap documentaries, such as Canadian Horror Story, for example. First off, a documentary is supposed to be educational. There's nothing educational about me, about these videos, because you were only able to make conclusions based on limited information about my life.
It's not limited information. All the information that any of these documentary makers uses is the information that you've put out there and made available to everyone, including all of us as reactors, Chantal. So you have nobody but to blame but yourself.
What is educational about me eating and telling stories from my past, for example? My life is really not that interesting, nor is my content to warrant 3 hours of an in-depth character study that these creators fabricate.
How is it fabrication if it's your information that you are openly giving and posting on YouTube, Chantal? Make that make sense.
Only that, they try to analyze me from what seems to be a psychological approach or, about my eating disorder or other matters when they're not even qualified to do that. Being some edgelord...
Honestly, I don't think it really takes a PhD in psychology. You could have taken a basic psychology class and you fit the mold of many psychosis, Chantal. You and Amberlynn both.
Living in your parents' basement, reading Kiwi Farms all day does not make you a credible source of information. You are not doctors, you are not therapists, and you are certainly...
How do you know who's a therapist, who's a doctor? How do you know, Chantal? That's the thing, you don't know, because a lot of us as reactors, we're not on here telling you what our jobs are or what our credentials are. So you're wrong with that one.
Not experts on my life. So each of these dumb documentaries starts off with some dramatic cinematic intro. Imagine, how am I that interesting? Anyway, I guess I'm flattered. So the music is super annoying because it sets the tone of sadness, hopelessness, drama, regret. Again, speculating that we as the subjects feel that way about our lives. Maybe some do. That's their problem.
Actually, I watched the little clip that he had posted, and what I felt about it kind of made it seem that you had a troubled childhood, and that's the reason for your chaotic and troubled adult life. That's what I got out of it.
I don't, and here's why. And here's why I don't care if people cancel me, unsub, make 4-hour documentaries about me. It's because I know I'm human. I know I'm flawed. Show me one person with a perfect life or past, and I'll shut up. Just
Yeah, okay, I will give you that. You are human. And yes, everybody's flawed, and nobody has a perfect life. But I can guarantee you there's lots of people out there that don't have a filthy mouth like you do, as far as being anti-Semitic, homophobic, racist, all of those things. There's many of us that don't live like that. There's many of us that don't hop from man to man in need of male attention to validate yourself. There's many of us, women and men, that don't do that. So you're wrong, Chantal.
1. God made obstacles for us as tests.
No.
Life is personal, and each individual has their own tailored path. So unless, and this is...
That's where you're wrong again, in my opinion. I don't think God purposely puts obstacles in your way. I don't think that's what that is, but that's just my opinion. So go back and read the Quran, read the Bible, read whatever you need, an education.
Key, unless you are living in that person's shoes or life path, you really cannot say what you would do or how you would react to certain situations because you are not living it. You will always be looking from the outside in, and that gives you a very limited view.
Okay, but that's true, Chantal, but you have to understand that many of us do have life experience. Now, me, for instance, I'm 50 years old, and I've had a lot of life experience. You would be surprised at some of the crap that I've literally gone through in my life. I probably could write a book. But I don't post it like you do for all the world to see and exploit it like you do.
Trust me. Second, I have not done anything so terrible as to warrant that much criticism. I'm sorry.
Yes, you have. You've openly felt sorry for PD files. You've openly been a grape apologist. You've openly been anti-Semitic. You've openly been racist. You've openly been homophobic. You've openly been abusive to your subs. You've openly been an animal abuser. You've openly exploited mental illness. You've openly exploited eating disorders. The list goes on and on with you, Chantal. So you might want to rethink that statement.
Sorry, but it's true. People pick apart every little detail. Irrelevant, trivial details. If I play a video game I suck at the first time I play it as a first-timer amateur, which is normal.
Amateur?
That somehow warrants a 5-hour live stream. Similarly with these documentaries, a 3-hour ordeal on me eating pasta and going on and off diets and talking about my abuser and low-key...
First of all, I don't believe that you were in an abusive relationship with him. I think you were the one he met on Tinder that wouldn't go away, just like with this Salah situation. He catfished you and you won't go away. Stop using an abusive relationship. Once again, you're exploiting a situation for your own benefit.
Victim shaming.
Nobody's victim shaming you at all.
This new series about to come out again, this has this ridiculous...
And anyways, besides that, you're on video saying that you embellished all that abuse that he did to you and it was false. So which one is it, Chantal? And you openly were trying to give said person an alibi for a grape case. So, yeah, you do nothing wrong. Okay, Chantal.
Cinematic trailer, and the first sentence from the intro song they so carefully chose for it starts with basically, "You are the reason your father wasn't there." Nice choice of song. Blaming a child for their father being a deadbeat, absent parent, it's never the child's fault. I can tell.
Well, wasn't that the story that you told? Nobody would know this information. It came out of your own mouth, Chantal, that basically your mom got pregnant at 16 to try to keep him around. So nobody would have known this if it wasn't for you. So you can't blame somebody using it in a documentary.
Already by the stage that was set with this trailer, this will also be a load of crap series. But nonetheless, it's very lucrative because there's a lot of haters who will eat it up with a fork and spoon.
And I don't hate you, Chantal.
Like I said, beating a dead horse. We already heard my life story. We already blamed me for dropping the charges, which if you simply use Google, many women in narcissistic abusive situations do that.
While yes, I agree with that because I was in an abusive relationship. Many women do drop the charges in fear of retaliation from said abuser. But the case with you is that you didn't actually live with your abuser. You had your own separate apartment miles and miles away. But yet, if he was abusing you, you kept going back, didn't you? So, yeah, it's not the same scenario, Chantal.
The past. I don't live there anymore. You are reliving someone's trauma and someone's past for your own gain. It's weird and all too common.
No, what's weird is you using a fake abuse allegation and trauma to gaslight your audience and you monetarily gaining off of it. So you should look at yourself.
Anything I have gone through is normal because many have gone through similar things. Getting too drunk and saying things we don't mean. For example, Cuba rage gets rubbed in my face like I give a crap that I raged on my abuser.
I've been drunk and that's hasn't happened to me. And they often say that alcohol is a truth serum. So people that are that way usually tell the truth when they're drunk. So everything that you said in that Cuba rage is your deep, dark feelings that are actually true.
After being subjected to a weekend of having my car keys and phone hidden and being pushed into situations I was not comfortable with. The Uvalde incident.
But yet you kept going back to his apartment and putting yourself in the situation if he was so abusive and doing these things. So you make no sense. You can't have it both ways.
I didn't write Pumped Up Kicks, by the way.
No, but you were making fun of Uvalde.
Kids. That is something that gets twisted. Again, this is a perfect example. I remember sobbing for them and mocking the gun culture of the U.S. because it's not a secret that the U.S. has a problem with shooters. There's a shooting every other day.
It's not guns that are the problem, and I'm speaking as a United States citizen. It's mental illness that is the problem. There's been guns in this country for over 200 years. It's mental illness that's out of control, not the guns.
I was also very drunk, and maybe my delivery was in poor taste, but I would never mock deceased children. Again, another example of how things get twisted to make me look bad. Well, if people want to believe...
I don't understand how things get twisted when people are using videos and sound bites of things that you have said and posted yourself. Nobody's twisting any narrative, Chantal. You are posting the information. You have nobody, once again, but to blame but yourself.
These things about me, I don't care. Recently,
then why
I
are
was
you
accused
making this
of
video?
giggling while telling a true crime story.
You were.
Again, to make me look like a villain. Giggling because the perpetrator had a funny last name.
You are an odd one, Chantal. You were giggling. So how are people painting you out to be the villain when it's your own actions? You don't, are you hearing yourself talk? It's typical narcissistic behavior that you're displaying right here. Everything that you have said thus far is taking zero accountability for anything that you've done, and you're deflecting towards everything else. Classic.
Not because someone was victimized, you morons. My cat's nail
It doesn't matter. It's
situation. Again,
inappropriate.
I've explained a million times what happened. I don't care if you don't believe it or not, and I certainly don't care if I'm hated. I get asked that a lot. Do you care you are so hated? No, of course not. I'm also very loved. And
You know, there's a lot of people that hate Chantal. I'm not one of them. I don't hate people at all. That's just not in my nature to be that way. But I don't blame anyone else that has those feelings towards her. I mean, it's your actions, Chantal, that make people have those feelings.
grateful to have experienced everything in my life because I trust in God's plan for me.
Oh my God.
Let's see what else. Oh yeah, people like to throw the fact.
If you trust God's plan, what he has for your life, how's that going so far? It seems real good, Chantal, doesn't it?
That as a 15-year-old, I faked an unaliving incident for attention. I was very mentally ill. I was admitted to inpatient even, and I had a lot of issues. Again, that was 25 years ago.
Yes, 25 years ago, and still to this day, you have not sought treatment for said mental illness. And it's displayed that on YouTube, which you exploit your own mental illness.
So get out of my face with that. Some of you haven't even been alive that long. Why are you all still ruminating and obsessing over my past when it's something I've moved on
Your
from?
past is like within this
Certain
year.
incidents I have learned from and moved on. I grew up. As for the whole thing with Nattered, I don't talk about that at all anymore, if you haven't noticed, for a reason.
You're talking about
I've moved
it.
on. So should all of you. That was a deeply traumatic time in my life, and the victim shaming and exploiting the situation over...
Nobody's victim shaming. Nobody's exploiting you. You exploited that entire situation yourself. Just because reaction channels cover it, or other content creators make documentaries on it, how's that their fault or our fault? It's your fault. You're the one putting the information on YouTube.
And over is gross. It's gross how people don't believe my story, even though there's video evidence of him being an abuser on video.
There's video evidence, but the evidence is not you being abused in a video. So that doesn't mean because abuse was going on in one relationship doesn't mean that you were being abused as well, Chantal.
And doo-doo, you can keep your abusive, kitchen-burning, belly-dancing, cigarette money-leeching man baby. But anyway, even if no one believes it, I don't care. I don't care if you hate me. I don't care if you make 1,000 crappy documentaries about the same subjects. Most of the information provided for the series was not given by me, someone who's actually lived these experiences, but rather from haters or people with a negative view.
First of all, okay, so somebody that's close to you has given Mr. Snowflake information. Very interesting. That's what I got out of that. But yeah, the information was, the majority of it was given by you on video. So, like, again, like, I'm going to say it again, you have nobody but to blame but yourself. As well as any of your VIBs that you've stabbed in the back that turned against you, if they were close to you and they turned on you and gave over information, you have nobody but to blame but yourself.
On my life and personality. People think they know me and my past more than I do myself, which is just absurd, for obvious reasons. These documentaries are therefore the least credible sources of information on me out there.
It's your
Yes,
information.
sure, I have an eating disorder. I can't follow through with much and blah, blah, blah. We all heard this before. But I'm still here and I'm still trying and I'm not giving up. Most times you're wrong about
Exploiting
me.
your eating
No
disorder.
surprise, though, seeing as you listen to critics, quote unquote, critics who are big jokes. They say I'm not married, for example, and you believe it without proof.
You haven't shown
Even
proof
after
that
I've
you're
stated
married.
that it is not legal for us to live together here if not married. No one listens.
You know, I have something to say about that. She keeps referring to it's not legal for her to be there or be in the apartment building while they're married. Now, I'm wondering if that apartment is actually rented to an actual married couple or citizens of Kuwait, maybe some relatives of Salah, and they're just living in the same apartment with another couple. I'm wondering.
And stories are made up because I'm not living the reality you have created for me. It doesn't fit your narrative. You were wrong. Most of you still think it's only a matter of time before I return to the dumpster fire life, and some are sick and waiting for this.
I'm not.
Some want me back with the abuser for entertainment. Can you imagine? Sounds like a
I
study
don't.
on yourself would be more interesting.
I actually don't. I actually don't want you to go back to the dumpster fire or the relationship with the other person. I don't. What I would like is for you to actually be accountable and stop gaslighting your audience. That would be great if you did that, but I don't think that's a probability in your life.
Made some poor choices in life, but I learned from them and I move on. Some I'm still
You were
working
just
on. It's
smoking
my
weed in
life, my
Canada
journey.
a few
All this
weeks
drama
ago.
is for nothing. People just still feeding off my past for profit. Another thing people need to knock it off with is this accusing me of exploiting things that happened to me in my life. It's my
Bingo.
life. I'm allowed to tell my story. The only one exploiting things at this point are reactors and these dumb documentaries.
So you're allowed to exploit your own life, but nobody else is allowed to have an opinion on it. Then why do you post on a public platform? Make that make sense, Chantal.
Makers. The past is the past. Move on.
Not really.
So I'm not allowed to talk about my experiences, but you are allowed to talk about my experiences.
Yes.
Yes, I struggle with problems still in life, but they don't keep me down because why should they? We were designed to overcome things God throws at us. Read the Quran.
Wrong. Oh God, wait. Let's play that.
It will help you understand these concepts.
Read the Quran. Okay.
People try so hard every day to bring me down, and it doesn't work, and it never will. Examine your heads.
You are misreading the Quran. Just like I'm sure you probably have misread the Bible. I suggest you go back and read it again because nothing that you are doing is on a path to enlightenment, Chantal.
And think of why you so desperately want someone to fail. It's a bizarre common ground in Gore World, and that's one of the reasons that community is a pile of dog crap. It exploits the same overweight women while most of the Gore World people are obsessed, overweight, uneducated, uncultured weirdos.
First of all, I'm not overweight. I'm not uneducated. I'm not uncultured. So just because you've traveled to a couple countries, Chantal, doesn't make you a cultured individual. And just because you are trying to be a woman of the Islamic faith and failing miserably, I might add, doesn't mean anything, Chantal. If anybody's uneducated, it's you.
Anyway, I wanted to address that, so please don't ever come and ask me, have you seen the trailer for the new series on You? I don't care.
You do care.
I don't care if I get canceled again. I don't care if you don't like my content. I mean, here's an example of another example of Gore World being ridiculous. Most of the reactors can't stand mukbangs, but watch every one I make in a 2-hour live stream. Weirdos, wallah.
No.
Anyway.
No, that's not the point. That's not a lot of the reason why we watch. The reason why a lot of us watch is because, like I said, we have life experience as far as dealing with maybe eating disorders, maybe drug abuse, maybe alcoholism, maybe, abusive relationships, whatever the case might be. So we watch as a person with experience and then give our opinion, because maybe some of us have been through therapy and know the steps to get out of cycles like this. So a lot of us that react to videos, especially of your mukbangs, mukbang, whatever, however you want to pronounce it, that's why we give our opinion, because of life experience, Chantal. That's why we watch.
I'm done giving my opinion on these matters, but to summarize, the outrage and exaggerated contrived drama for views is stupid
Contrived, her
and
favorite
entertainment fit for
word.
those with low intelligence. And
Okay.
no, just because I give my opinion on something doesn't mean I'm affected or bothered by it. By that logic, the reactors who talk about every single thing I do and screech about it for 3 hours straight are super bothered then. I just get asked a lot about my thoughts on all this criticism, quote unquote, not constructive, most of it, and these are my thoughts. Oh, and by the way, some advice is given out of caring and a good place. I'm not attacking you people.
Yeah, you do.
Anyway, I get told...
You're full of crap on that one, because like I've said before, I was a VIB for quite a while before she really got into the drugs and all that kind of stuff like that. And I was trying to help her. I remember at one point when she was hard into the drugs, I offered her a full paid vacation. This is even before she went to Cuba, I think. I can't even remember. If she were to promise to get off the drugs, she told me no. And yeah, so Chantal, that's bullshit. The people that are actually giving you real advice and actually want to help you, because they've been through life experience, you shit all over them. It's been proven time and time again, and I'm an example of that.
A lot. My channel is tanking and I'm boring. I don't see it that way. I'm at a different phase in my life, and for me it's exciting. And even if I'm battling health issues and an eating disorder, I'm still grateful for all God has given me, and I don't place my self-worth in the words of Gore World or how much money I make. I saw one of these stupid documentaries talking about Boogie2988, another YouTuber, and while yes, he has done controversial, not so nice things, sometimes the whole documentary was keeping track of his net worth and how much money he had. He even says he's worthless at one point because he has no money. Money does not determine your worth as a person.
Okay, then why are you bringing it up? You always bring up money for some reason, Chantal. You're the one obsessed with money. Why? Why are you obsessed with money, Chantal? It's not us, it's you.
The sad music documentary basically making a person seem worthless because they are broke. Maybe God made him broke to teach him that his net worth is not measured in dollars and cents.
First of all, God doesn't make people broke. You make yourself broke. That's where you like. I don't even understand how people like you interpret the religious word. It's insanity. Tell me where in any religious book where it says God makes you broke. None of them say that.
But that's for him to learn. I will never ever let money affect my emotions or gratitude for life.
That's
This
BS.
is one big thing I've learned in life that has been so valuable to me. Wealth is not monetary to me at all. At one point when I was making, let's say, $20,000 a month, I still wasn't...
That was one time. I think you made 20 grand, one time? If anything, I don't think that went on for like a long period of time, Chantal. And what did you do with that money? You spent it all on the alleged abuser and takeout food.
Happy. I blew through it just like Boogie did, and I don't care about it even 1% now. How can I regret an experience I needed to happen to learn from it? To learn that value of that money, I had to...
But have you learned? Have you really learned, Chantal? I don't think so. I don't think you've learned.
Lose it first. This is how I try to look at life in a positive manner. It's not possible to avoid making human error.
And another thing I'd like to point out, okay, yes, I understand that when you're in your 20s, that's like your time period for, making monetary mistakes, making mistakes in relationships, things like that. Not when you're 40 years old. Do you hear yourself, Chantal?
Important thing is to realize they will happen and learn from them. If you keep making the same error, you haven't learned how to deal with the problem yet.
Obviously, because you're 40.
It's okay. Forgive yourself and be patient.
No.
Trust and turn to God. He's in control of your life when you can't be. Anyway, you can make 1,009.
No, I don't believe in that. While yes, I believe in a higher power that exists, I think each of us as individuals make choices in life, and that's not God, that's on you.
108 documentaries about me, as I've said, and my past, and the turd chef. I don't give a flying crap at all anymore, that I promise you. Again, same crap, different dramatic, cinematic intro, all to study a life I've shared openly myself anyway.
Exactly.
I always expose myself because I'm not ashamed to be human. I'm not ashamed to admit my life has had many.
Then, okay, you admitted it right there. Then why be mad at us for reacting to the shenanigans that you post, or someone else like Mr. Snowflake making a documentary on the dysfunction in your life? How does that make sense, Chantal? The hypocrisy, your favorite word, in this post is astonishing.
Errors and is indeed a speckled axe, but it's also perfectly imperfect, and it is my own, and I can't complain.
Jealous of her?
I have a loving family, a few good friends, a loving husband. Yes, there's been a scandal and it's not perfect, but we're giving it a chance, and there's so much good besides that, and it's been so good since that. And if it turns out to be the wrong decision, oh well, I'll move on like I always do. We have a car, a condo by the ocean, food, pets, travel.
But wait a minute. Wait, you just said you don't care about money and stuff, but you're talking about we have a condo by the ocean and a car. Like, who's the one caring about monetary items and things? Not us. That's you, Chantal. My God.
Experience, the freedom to do whatever we want, to travel, and most importantly, I have my faith. I feel rich in many ways, and none have to do with money. You can always make money.
How none of them have to do with money, and everything that you just mentioned prior has to do with money. You're trying to flex with some bullshit.
Comes and goes. Anyways, thanks for listening. I will end with saying that I will not be watching any of these new series coming out.
You will.
About me, or any reactions, which I never watch their videos directly anyway.
That's a lie.
I have better things to do. Heck, even
like what?
picking my nose and staring at the wall.
That's probably
is more
what you do.
productive than watching someone discuss how I stir a pot for 3 hours or how I walk weird. Anyways, guys, see you
talk
in the
about how you
video.
walk weird.
Bye.
Well, she's trying to deflect from the new scandalous documentary that's about to come out about her. I guess she's trying to advise the new viewers that it's all a lie. But guess what? It's not, because a majority of this information probably in this documentary that's coming out has been given and posted by Chantal herself. So I don't feel sorry for her. So that's it for my end. So everybody have a great afternoon, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye.